it's just been the longest, most emotionally draining situation that you've had to lead the community through.
You know, it has definitely been a long day, and it's definitely been an emotional day. There's been some ups and downs. We've had some good things happen, but you know, overall, it's just been a really rough day for all of Hopkins County.
Let's talk first about those moments after the tornado ripped through the community. When you got to the scene, we have Dawson Springs, we have Morton's Gap, all of those places just devastated. When you started to see that on the ground, what was that like for you?
You know, it was surreal, but because it was dark, you really couldn't see the extent of the damage when you first arrived on the scene. This came through at night, so it was several hours before we could really begin to tell the true scope of the damage.
And now that the sun has come up, I understand the main effort over the last several hours has been going door to door to make sure that everyone in the community is accounted for. Can you give us an update on that effort?
Yes, you know, that effort continues. And even though it was dark, you know, it was already starting before I got there. You know, as soon as the tornado moved through, we had our first responders. They were going out and beginning to look for people. And it continued all through the night and again all through today, and we'll continue on until we make sure we've covered every house very thoroughly. You know, especially because we started it at night, it makes it much more difficult to be as thorough. So we went through probably every house at least twice, if not 3 times.
And I understand at this point, we have no reported deaths in the Hopkins County community, but quite a few injuries.
No, we do have several fatalities from this storm.
Can you expand on how many and where those were?
I don't have an exact number right now because it has been changing, but right now it sits around 11, and all in the Dawson Springs area.
And talk a little bit more specifically about Dawson Springs. I understand part of the community really leveled.
Yes, there are areas where just every house in the area is either gone or has enough damage that there'll be no bringing it back. You know, usually you'll see where tornadoes kind of jump around. They'll skip a house here and there or skip a block, lift off the ground and move some. This one just did not. It was an absolute steamroller that rolled on for over 200 miles, most of that through Kentucky. And when it came through the Dawson Springs area, it just rolled straight along the ground and just tore houses apart.
And then not far away, you have the Morton's Gap area where we had the train derailment, which only added to the chaos last night, added to the damage done. Can you speak a little bit more to what you're seeing in that part of the county?
Yeah, a lot of the area looks similar to Dawson Springs, just massive old trees snap like twigs. You see metal wrapped around trees and telephone poles, power lines down everywhere. And it really gives you an idea of the true power of this storm when you see 22 loaded train cars thrown off the track.
Do you have an estimate of how many homes, businesses need to be rebuilt, replaced in the coming months, in the coming year?
No, we haven't started that data gathering yet, and we will soon, but our first efforts all went toward that house-to-house checking and not worried about the counting of the houses, just trying to find people that, you know, may still be trapped inside some of that rubble.
Heading into night 2, a lot of people displaced. What are the efforts like to make sure people have a place to stay, a warm place? It's December in Kentucky. This is not the same thing as dealing with a summer, spring, or even early fall storm.
Right. And that's definitely a big concern because we know there are many, many people displaced. Now, we have a wonderful community where people, you know, the families will bring others in, neighbors will bring others in, but we also have some great organizations. So the Penny Ross State Park, every room they had available, they made available to those who were displaced. So we were able to get them over to the state park so they could stay in a cabin over there. If we have overflow after that, we've already got several communities that have offered up their community centers, and many of those have been certified as a shelter that has, a generator for power, beds, shower, a kitchen. And in addition, we've got several churches that have offered up transportation and shelter.
And I think that comes to the next part of what we see in these devastating moments after the storm is that community coming together to help each other out. And it sounds like Hopkins County, Western Kentucky is doing that as a whole.
We had, while it was still storming and raining, we had volunteers showing up with chainsaws or a tractor, anything they could do to help get the roads cleared so the first responders could get to the houses. Tyson Chicken called and said, hey, we want to bring a truckload of food and our grill and we're going to cook it. So they'll be set up most likely tomorrow or Monday. It's been a constant parade of people bringing by things that the people that have been displaced from their homes need.
Judge Executive Whitfield, is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap up?
Just that we've got some really great communities and some strong people. It's been a long day, but we're going to be all right.
As Governor Andy Beshear always says, through this pandemic, we're going to get through this and we're going to get through it together. And I think that really sums up what you've described here with us this evening.
Yes, I think it does.
Thank you so much for your time and stay safe.
All right, thank you.